What's going on, everyone? Matt here for the Matt Film Show. You guys, and you can make sure thumbs up, subscribe if you guys like, and let's get right into today's video. And today, I'm gonna be giving you guys my season 1 review of Marvel Zombies, the new show from the MCU, from Marvel's animation. Um, this is a show that I saw the trailer and I was very looking forward to it. One of the What If episodes, I think it was in season 1, or I can't remember what season it was, that had What If Zombies that had a lot of elements from this show. And so it was sort of a continuation from that episode. It explained more about the What If Zombies and all that stuff. And so uh, I thought that that was cool because I really loved What If. I loved what they did with that show. And I'm going to talk more about What If and Marvel Zombies. Let me tell you guys the premise, the cast, and I'll give you guys all my overall thoughts. So the premise is set in an alternate timeline introducing What If, where a virus has turned most of the world's population, including the Avengers, into zombies. The series follows a group of survivors that discovered the key to bringing an end to the zombies plague, which leads them to risk their lives driving across a dystopian landscape and fighting superpowered zombies to save the world. The cast includes Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Dominic Throne as Riri Williams, Ironheart, Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, Carrie Condon as Friday, Kenya Ramsey as Okoye, Todd Williams as Eric Brooks, Blade Knight, Kari Wallingren as Melena Vostov, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, David Harbour as Alexei Shokstov, Red Guardian, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Aquafina as Katie, Randall Park as Jimmy Woo, Fender Shin as Weirwood Mandarin, Riot Russell as John Walker U.S. Agent, Rama Valerie as Helmet Zemo, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff Red Queen, Hudson Thomas as Peter Parker Spider-Man, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang Ant-Man, Greg Furman as Thor, Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, and F. Murray Abraham as Khonshu. So yeah, as you guys can see here, a lot of the voice actors who played them in live action come back and reprise their roles and voices them in this show. And they did the same thing with What If. This is exactly like What If. I think I got a lot of What If vibes, and What If was a show that I loved. I loved What If. I loved the concept of What If. I loved the alternate realities of the multiverse, and what if this happens, what if that. I love that all. I love that. And I was very, very sad and disappointed that they ended it with 3 seasons. I really wanted them to continue What If as much as long as they can. You know what I mean? And sadly, they ended it with 3 seasons. And so the fact that we get some sort of continuation of What If and Marvel Zombies, I was very proud of that and very excited for that because I loved What If and I loved the episode of What If Zombies, but that whole animation style continues the animation style from What If into here. This is more of a spin-off, or I would say more of expansion of that What If Zombies episode, a continuation from that. And I loved what they did with this. This is rated R. This is maybe the 3rd or 5th project of the MCU that's R-rated. We had Deadpool Wolverine being rated. The first one being Echo, Deadpool Wolverine. That was rated R. Marvel Zombies, that's rated R. We also had Daredevil Born Again, that was rated R. So we had about like 4 or 5 projects that was rated R in the MCU. And I'm very excited that Marvel is slowly continuing that mature content audience, mature content for the MCU. And when you see this show, you understand why it's rated R. You know what I mean? There's no cussing or anything. It's more of a blood and guts. It's very, very violent. When to kill people, to kill their heads off, blood comes out, guts comes out. So that's why it's rated R. And so I really like that they were leaning more of that. And I think it's so cool when it's rated R, when it's in animated form. You know what's so cool in Deadpool and Wolverine? You know what I mean? The blood and guts and all that, right? Or the mature content in Daredevil, Born Again, or an Echo. But it's more fascinated, more cool when it's in animated form with What If. You know what I mean? I love seeing that they brought back characters that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. You know, my frustration with the MCU right now is they introduced so many characters, but they don't return. We don't know when or if they're going to return, how they're going to return, all this stuff. So I appreciate that in here, we got to see Shang-Chi come back. Right, Shang-Chi was a movie that surprised me because I did not know what to expect from the movie. And I loved Shang-Chi. I'm a big Shang-Chi fan. I love that movie. I love Simu Liu. I love Awkwafina's Katie. And it's been 5 years, I think, 5 or 6 years. Can't remember how long it's been, but we haven't seen Shang-Chi. Right? We haven't seen Shang-Chi since. And we do not know if or when there will be a Shang-Chi 2. They keep saying they're making the Shang-Chi 2. We do not even know. I appreciate that them bringing back Shang-Chi in What If Season 3. And so them bringing back Shang-Chi here, I was very, very fascinated. Whatever we get of Shang-Chi, I'm very happy about. And I love Shang-Chi here, voiced by Simu Liu. A great Canadian, I think he's Canadian. Great Canadian kid. Love Shang-Chi. Love Simu Liu as the character. We're going to see him in Avengers Doomsday, right, next year. But we don't even know if or when there's going to be a Shang-Chi 2. Because there's already been 7 years or 6 years or whatever. It's been 5 or 6, 7 years since Shang-Chi. And still no word on if there's a sequel, if there's going to happen. They keep saying there's going to be a Shang-Chi 2. We haven't seen Shang-Chi yet. We don't even know when a Shang-Chi sequel is happening. I hope that they make up, you know, it. But, you know, that's Marvel right now. That's the thing I've very frustrated with Marvel is that they introduce all these heroes and they don't even know what to do with them. But I really do appreciate them bringing back Shang-Chi. You know what I mean? They brought back Miss Marvel, which I'm a big Miss Marvel fan. I love the Miss Marvel show. A lot of people do not like the Miss Marvel character or the show. The show is very, very kiddish. I understand that part, you know what I mean? She's a member of the Young Avengers. You have to keep a mind on that. I loved her in the Marvels. She was one of the best part of the Marvels. And seeing more of that character, you know, I'm very, very excited for it. And hope we get to see him in Doomsday and Secret Wars and hope, I do not know where else we're going to see her. But I love that Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Mon Vellani voice, returns to voice her. I love her. She's a great kid and great actress to play this character. And I'm very happy that we got to see more of Kamala Khan. Riri Williams says Ironheart. You know, I was surprised. I really enjoyed Ironheart. Took me out surprised because I did not know what to expect from it. Like I explained my review on the series, Ironheart, I believe, should have been a movie. I do not know why they made a 6-episode series. To me, I would have loved that they could have been a movie. But I did love this show of Ironheart. I loved her in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You know, even though there was nothing much for her to do in that movie as her introduction, I wish there was more of her. But we did get to see more of her show. But getting to see more of that character, I wouldn't mind seeing more of. And we got to see her more in Marvel Zombies. And so I'm sure we will get to see her in a Doomsday or Secret Wars. Kate Bishop, Hailey Steinfeld, very great character, you know, member of the Young Avengers. And the end of the Marvels, they've been recruiting of the Young Avengers. We haven't heard about that Young Avengers since. So I'm sure the Young Avengers would be a team that would be assembled throughout Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. I heard reports that they were planning on making a Young Avengers movie, that they decided to make a show. I think that's so dumb. I hope they do not go to the show route because I think that's so stupid. The Young Avengers is a group of young people as an Avengers. And I think for me, a team up should be a movie, not a TV series. And I think there was reports that they were calling it Champions or something like that they were not going to be called the Young Avengers. They were going to be called Champions or something. I don't know, you know. I hope those reports and rumors are false because I want this to be a movie. I want the Young Avengers to be a movie, not a show. You know what I mean? I think it would be dumb if they make it a show. So if they make it a movie, that'd be cool. You know, we got to see her recruiting in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. In the Marvels, her recruiting Kamala Khan to the Young Avengers team. and we haven't seen that since. But we get to see more of Kate Bishop here. We get to see Friday here. You know, the AI. You know what I mean? Um, Okoye here. I really love the Okoye character from Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, and she was really cool in Infinity War and Endgame, and hope to see more of her and wherever we could see more of her, like the character, and we get to see Blade Knight. Blade was in this. I think this is the first official appearance of Blade in the MCU. No, it was not voiced by Mahershala Ali, but we got to see Blade. Now, this was a what-if scenario because Blade was mixed with Moon Knight, so they mixed Moon Knight and Blade together. So you had the powers of Blade, had the powers of Moon Knight. And I thought that was very, very cool. Interesting that they did that. But we finally got to see Blade. Finally, Blade, after so many years of Blade. Blade's coming. We're making a Blade movie. Where's Blade? We haven't seen him. We got to see Blade here. Now, we see him as Blade Knight, not Blade, but we get to see Blade. And where we get to see Blade, I was very fascinated. I love what they did with Blade. You know, half vampire, right? Have Moon Knight, vampire slash Moon Knight, right? I love the concept of that. And where's the Blade movie? They keep saying that we're going to get Blade. The movie was announced like 6-7 years ago and no update on Blade. And so I don't believe we're going to get, keep saying we're going to get a Blade movie. I don't believe it. I would believe that we're getting a Blade movie once we get to see a trailer or first look or something. That's when I'm not going to believe that we're getting Blade. But we got to see Blade, finally, you know what I mean? Kiari Wallegren as Melina Vostov, that's Black Widow and Yelena's mom. She wasn't Black Widow. She was in the What If season 3. I can't remember if she was in Thunderbolts. Can't remember. I don't think she wasn't. But more of her. That's very cool. Obviously, Florence Pugh, Yelena. You know, they're putting her in a lot of stuff in the MCU. She was in Black Widow. She was in Hawkeye, Thunderbolts, and What If. Always in here. I think she was in somewhere else as well. I can't remember, but she's becoming part of a lot of the showing up a lot, and I like that character Yelena. She's a very cool character, and I loved her. I loved her in Thunderbolts, and more of that character. Can't wait to see what she does in Avengers Doomsday, because I've been enjoying with that character. David Harbour as Alexei Shostozov, Red Guardian. Love that character as well. Becoming more of a fan of Red Guardian. You know, he was in Black Widow. What If? In this show, he was in the Thunderbolts. Like to see more of that character, and can't wait to see more. Obviously, he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday, and can't wait to see more of the character. Simu Liu Shang-Chi. You know, I always talked about how I loved Shang-Chi. One of the best action sequences of the MCU in the last couple of years. Loved that movie. I talked about how they brought back Katie. I talk about they brought back Katie as well, but love Shang-Chi, one of my favorite movies in Phase 4. Fun, entertaining film, great action sequences, and I always talked about where's Shang-Chi. They introduced Shang-Chi, we get to see him. Obviously, we got to see him in What If Season 3, and we got to see him here, and he was awesome like always, and I love Simu Liu. I love Shang-Chi. I want to see more of that character, and we're finally getting him in animated form, but where's Shang-Chi 2? You know what I mean? That's something I always talk about was we haven't seen a sequel. I want a sequel. Hopefully they make a sequel. I'll be disappointed if they don't make one. And obviously Awkwafina as Katie. I love that character of Katie. Awkwafina does an amazing job. I've really been becoming a fan of Awkwafina. And same thing with Shang-Chi. We haven't seen her since. So glad to see her back again. Randall Park as Jimmy Woo. He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And in Ant-Man, I believe. He was a member of the Damage Control or something like that. He was in WandaVision. WandaVision. He was also in Was he in another movie? I know he was in WandaVision. I have to say he came on another show or movie recently. I feel like I seen him after WandaVision. I don't know. He's been popping up a lot. Can't remember where. I have a feeling that he saw him somewhere. But Randall Park does an amazing job as Jimmy Woo. Funny character, funny guy. So glad to see him again. Fedora Chin as Wenwu Mandarin. I don't think that this was not the actor who played Mandarin. This is a voice actor who voiced him in this show. Not the same actor. But we got to see the Mandarin again. Very, very cool. Very, very cool scenes with him. Action scenes with him. With the 10 rings and all that. I thought that was very cool. Right? Russell John Walker, U.S. agent. The Walmart Captain America. You know, it's a character that was introduced in Captain America. No, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Which that character, to me, how they handled him in that show pissed me off. He was a character that I hated. Hated that character. Just the way that he was portrayed. Like a douchebag. You know what I mean? But I started liking that character in Thunderbolts. Obviously, we're going to see him in Avengers Doomsday. And so we got to see him here. That was really cool. Rama Valuri as Hilma Zemo. Basically a female version of Baron Zemo. I thought that was very interesting. You know what I mean? Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, Red Queen. Got to see more of Scarlet Witch here. Obviously, she's presumed dead in the MCU, but you know, this is the multiverse, so she's here. I do not know if or when we're going to see Wanda again in Doomsday. I do not know. She and Doctor Strange is presumed dead. We do not know if she's going to be alive or not. We have to wait and see. But, so she was here. Now, Hudson Thomas voiced Peter Parker as Spider-Man. It was not voiced by Tom Holland. It's voiced by someone else. I'm pretty sure he was the person who voiced Spider-Man in the What If series. He was very, very cool in this. I like seeing him here. Paul Rudd as Scott Lang Ant-Man. Love Ant-Man. Obviously, he did not do it. He had the weakest of the trilogy, right? With Ant-Man Quantumania. Not a great movie. A fun sequel. But the third one was not great. Fun character. I love Paul Rudd. And I do not know a person who hates Paul Rudd because Paul Rudd is a great character that I love. Greg Fergman voiced Thor, not Chris Hemsworth. And I think he was really cool here. I'm pretty sure he voiced him in What If. But he was cool seeing him here. Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie. Very, very cool leader of the New Asgard. I think it was called New Asgard. So I'm sure that will be something that we get to see in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I'm not too sure. But glad to see her back as voicing Valkyrie at least. F. Murray Abraham as Khonshu. I do not remember if he played Khonshu in Moon Knight, but he's back here. You know, Moon Knight was a character that a character that I enjoyed, but the show was boring. I did not like the show. I found the show very, very boring, not entertaining at all. The ancient Egypt stuff, I thought that was so boring. I wanted to love Moon Knight the show. I did not like it, and there was nothing for me to love from Moon Knight. And that Moon Knight was a cool character though. Like, it's a very interesting character, but I just cannot love him. You know what I mean? Or like him, because the show was not great. And so, but we get to see more of Moon Knight here, and Khonshu. But yeah, you know what I mean? I thought that they did such an amazing job with this series. Fun series. 4 episodes that I think they did announce a season 2. So can't wait for season 2. Can't wait to see more of these. Because I loved What If. What If was a show that I really loved. And the fact that they continue it some sort, I'm all in. And I appreciate that. So if you love What If, you're going to love this show. The same animation style from What If is here. A continuation for the What If episode. What If Zombies episode. And I want to see more of this because I love What If. And whatever we get to see more What If, I'll be down for it. But yeah, that's my review for Zombies, Marvel Zombies. Very great show. I wish it was more episodes, man. 4 episodes, TV miniseries. I wish we had more, but I enjoyed it. I like I said, it brought a lot of the What If continuation from the What If episode. I love What If, and as long as we get to see more What If type stuff, I'm all for it because I loved What If. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Marvel Zombies. It's a mini-series, 4 episodes streaming only on Disney+. If you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe if you guys like. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this show. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.